Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you the version of you that the world sees right now isn't even close to who you truly are? What if every limitation you've ever believed in was nothing but a lie, an illusion built by fear, doubt, and conditioning? There's a version of you so powerful, so relentless, so unstoppable, that it's been waiting begging for you to unleash it. And today, you're not just going to meet that version, you're going to awaken it. Because the key to breaking free from every limitation you've ever known lies in mastering 4 unstoppable alter egos already living inside you. And there's a version of you that the world has never met, a version buried under fear, hesitation, and the opinions of others. A version that's been waiting for permission to rise. And today, you don't need permission. You need power. The power to break free from every limitation that has kept you small, the power to step into a new identity, one that isn't restricted by the past. And to do that, you must call upon the force of your alter egos, those inner identities that live within you waiting to be unleashed. And you see, most people never realize they have more than one version of themselves. They think, this is just who I am. No, that's not who you are. That's who you've been conditioned to believe you are. You are not the story you've been telling yourself. You are the storyteller. And when you understand that, you realize you can create at will the identities that serve your growth. You can choose the energy, the emotions, the confidence, the courage you need in any moment. You can become whoever the situation demands. That's the secret of the greats. They have alter egos. And today, you're going to awaken 4 of them. And the first is the warrior. This alter ego thrives on challenge. It lives for adversity. The warrior doesn't complain when life gets tough. It comes alive. When you channel the warrior, hesitation dies. There's no space for fear because the warrior knows fear is just energy waiting to be redirected into action. The warrior doesn't negotiate with excuses. It stands tall when everything around it collapses. It says, no matter what, I will not stop. When life throws punches, the warrior doesn't retreat. It advances. And think about the moments you've been knocked down, the times you felt weak, uncertain, or doubted yourself. The warrior is the part of you that still showed up anyway. It's the one that said, I'll try again. It's the part that refused to surrender even when everything said you should. The warrior inside you doesn't care about how many times you failed. It only cares that you rise again. So when you feel like you can't go on, summon the warrior. Feel that fire in your gut. Feel your spine straighten. Feel your heartbeat intensify. That's your signal it's time to fight for your future. But there's another side of you. The second alter ego, the visionary. The visionary sees what others can't. While most people get stuck in what is, the visionary lives in what can be. This alter ego doesn't focus on problems, it focuses on possibilities. The visionary doesn't get trapped by the past because it's too busy creating the future. It's the part of you that dreams without apology, the part that imagines a life so bold, so extraordinary that it scares you, and that's exactly why it's worth chasing. And when you channel the visionary, you step out of survival mode and into creation mode. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. The visionary asks powerful questions. What if I could? What if it's possible? What if the limits I've believed in are nothing but illusions? And when those questions ignite in your mind, something shifts, your world expands. The visionary reminds you that every invention, every breakthrough, every transformation in history began in someone's imagination. You don't need to see the whole staircase, you only need to believe in the first step. Because when your vision is strong enough, the path reveals itself. And then there's the third alter ego, the healer. This one is often forgotten, but it's essential. The healer is the energy of love, forgiveness, and emotional mastery. Because you cannot break free from limitations while holding on to pain. You cannot rise with resentment in your heart. The healer within you knows that your power expands when you release the weight of the past. It reminds you that forgiveness isn't weakness, it's freedom. The healer whispers, "You did the best you could with what you knew, and now it's time to let go." And so many people stay trapped not because they can't move forward, but because they won't stop looking back. They replay old stories, old mistakes, old betrayals. But the healer helps you close those loops. It teaches you that pain can become purpose. Every scar can become strength. Every wound can become wisdom. When you embody the healer, you reclaim your peace. You learn to love yourself not because you're perfect, but because you're present, growing, evolving. The healer makes sure your heart stays open even when life tries to harden it. And then there's the fourth alter ego, the creator. The creator is the bridge between vision and reality. It's the part of you that acts, builds, and manifests. The creator doesn't wait for perfect conditions, it creates them. It doesn't wait for motivation, it creates momentum. The creator understands that progress isn't about feeling ready, it's about deciding. When you channel this alter ego, you stop overthinking and start moving. You take the vision from your mind and bring it into the world through relentless action. And the creator isn't afraid of failure because it knows failure is feedback. It experiments, adjusts, and refines until success becomes inevitable. The creator says, "Let's make it real." Whether it's a dream, a business, a new identity, the creator brings it to life. Because creation is the ultimate expression of power. It's saying, "I will not wait for circumstances to align. I will align myself and make it happen." And now imagine these four alter egos inside you: the warrior, the visionary, the healer, and the creator, all working together. The warrior gives you strength, the visionary gives you direction, the healer gives you peace, and the creator gives you momentum. When these forces unite, you become unstoppable. You stop living as a single version of yourself and start becoming multidimensional, capable of adapting, growing, and transcending every limitation life throws your way. And every time you hit a wall, it's not a dead end. It's a test of which alter ego you'll choose to awaken. When fear paralyzes you, call forth the warrior. When you lose clarity, awaken the visionary. When pain weighs you down, summon the healer. When you start to doubt, activate the creator, because every limitation is a doorway, and each of these identities holds the key to walk through it. And the truth is, you've already used these alter egos without realizing it. Every time you found courage when you were scared, that was the warrior. Every time you dreamed of something greater, that was the visionary. Every time you forgave and moved on, that was the healer. Every time you built something from nothing, that was the creator. They've always been with you. You just need to consciously choose them. And that choice, that conscious activation, is what changes everything. Because transformation isn't about becoming someone else. It's about awakening the power that's already within you. You're not trying to add more. You're uncovering what's been hidden. You've had the tools, the energy, the fire all along. You just forgot where you put them. And so the next time you feel trapped by your own limits, remember, you are not stuck. You're simply operating from the wrong identity. You don't need to fight harder. You need to become someone who no longer struggles in that way. You need to shift identities. Step into the version of you who already has what you want. Breathe like them, move like them, think like them. That's how you create a new reality. Not by hoping, not by wishing, but by embodying. And when you embody strength, clarity, love, and creation all at once, you become a force of nature. You stop asking, "Can I?" and start declaring, "I will." The world doesn't change because you wait for opportunity. It changes when you show up as the person who can command it. And that person already lives inside you. The only question left is, will you let them out? And you will let them out the moment you decide that the old version of you has expired. The moment you say, "I've lived small long enough, I've hidden long enough, I've apologized for my potential long enough. That's the moment everything shifts. Because transformation doesn't happen when you have all the answers. It happens the second you commit to becoming more. The second you say, I refuse to stay the same, that decision, that fire inside, it's what turns average people into extraordinary beings. It's not luck. It's not timing. It's the courage to evolve when everyone else settles. And the truth is, every human being has two voices inside, one that's afraid and one that's ready. And whichever one you feed the most will run your life. Most people feed the voice of fear, the voice that says, what if I fail? What if they laugh at me? What if I'm not enough? But that voice is nothing but a script, a recycled story you've been told since childhood. The other voice, the one that whispers, what if I fly? What if I'm capable of more than I can even imagine? That's the voice of your potential calling out. The more you listen to it, the louder it becomes. That's how you start breaking free. Not through force, but through focus. And that's where your alter egos become your greatest allies, because each one gives you access to a different frequency of power. Think about it. When you face rejection, it's not your logical mind that saves you, it's your warrior. When your dream feels impossible, logic won't help you. You need the visionary. When your heart feels broken, you can't think your way out, you must heal your way out. And when your goals stay stuck in the idea phase, only the creator can move them forward. These aren't fantasies, they're psychological triggers. You can shift your state in seconds by summoning the identity that fits the moment. And so, imagine walking into a room full of opportunity, one that intimidates you. You feel that old fear rising, that urge to shrink. Right there, you stop and say to yourself, warrior, take over. And in that instant, your body changes. Your shoulders square, your breath deepens, your presence expands. You walk in not as someone hoping to be accepted, but as someone who knows they belong. That's what identity does. It changes how you move, how you speak, how you carry yourself. Because the world doesn't respond to your potential, it responds to your energy, and your energy is determined by who you believe you are in that moment. And you can't think your way out of limitation. You must act your way out. You must embody the identity that destroys the old pattern. The person who is confident doesn't think about being confident, they just are. The person who succeeds doesn't overanalyze success, they act like it's inevitable. You don't wait to feel ready, you decide to be ready. You don't wait to be fearless, you move through fear until courage becomes your new normal. That's how identities shift, through repetition of who you want to become. And now, there will be moments when your old self tries to pull you back. The mind will whisper, you've never done this before, you're not qualified, stay comfortable. That's the moment you smile, because you know it's only your past trying to protect you. But you're no longer living in protection mode, you're living in expansion mode. The past is familiar, not safe. Safety doesn't come from staying small, it comes from growing stronger. The version of you that clings to the past cannot survive where you're going. Let it fade. Thank it for keeping you alive, and then step forward as the person who thrives. And that's why your environment matters. The people you surround yourself with, the conversations you engage in, the thoughts you entertain, these all reinforce an identity. If you spend your time with people who talk about limitations, you'll start to believe in them. If you surround yourself with dreamers, builders, warriors, and creators, you'll start to think differently. You'll feel differently. You'll move differently. Energy is contagious, and identity is reinforced through association. So be ruthless about who gets access to your energy. Protect your momentum like it's sacred, because it is. And understand this, transformation is not about intensity, it's about consistency. Anyone can be motivated for a day. But the real power comes when you live your new identity every single day. until it becomes automatic. The warrior doesn't show up once. It becomes who you are under pressure. The visionary doesn't just dream, it keeps seeing even when others doubt. The healer doesn't forgive once, it keeps its heart open through every storm, and the creator doesn't build one thing. It builds continuously, knowing there's always another level of mastery waiting. And every limitation that's ever held you back is a story, and the only way to rewrite that story is to step into a new character. The person who couldn't do it is gone. The person who can is already here. The only question is, will you allow them to take the lead? Because there's no growth without risk, there's no freedom without discomfort, there's no evolution without identity death. You must be willing to let parts of you die. The doubt, the self-criticism, the hesitation, so new power can be born. And you've got to feel the shift inside you, that electric pulse that says, I am done being controlled by fear. I am done living on autopilot. I am done playing the victim of my circumstances. Every second you live small, you reinforce the illusion that you are powerless. But when you choose to embody strength, clarity, compassion, and creation all at once, you become limitless. Your energy changes, your voice changes. Even the way people respond to you begins to change, because you are no longer reacting to life. You are generating life. And here's something most people miss. Your alter egos are not masks to hide behind. They are amplifiers of truth. They don't cover up who you are. They reveal who you've always been beneath fear. When you access them, you don't become someone new. You return to the most powerful version of yourself. The one that existed before doubt, before insecurity, before the world told you who you were supposed to be. That's the version you're remembering. That's the identity that's waiting to lead your life. And the secret is to train these alter egos like muscles. Don't wait for crisis to call on the warrior. Practice courage daily. Speak up when it's uncomfortable. Take the action you've been avoiding. Challenge your own excuses. Don't wait for a dream to appear before you become the visionary. Practice imagination daily. See yourself succeeding. Visualize abundance. Picture your goals as if they've already happened. Don't wait for heartbreak to awaken the healer. Practice compassion daily. Listen deeply. Forgive quickly. Show gratitude for your growth. And don't wait for opportunity to summon the creator. Practice execution daily. Act on your ideas. Experiment, refine, and build something that outlives your fear. And the more you practice, the stronger these identities become. And one day you'll look back and realize you no longer have to switch between them. They've merged. The warrior gives you unshakable resilience. The visionary keeps your eyes on the future. The healer keeps your heart open. And the creator makes it all real. That's when you become fully integrated. That's when you stop chasing transformation and start being transformation. But none of it happens until you stop identifying with your limitations, stop saying, "That's just how I am." That phrase is poison. You are not fixed. You are fluid. You are evolution in motion. You are consciousness creating itself moment by moment. Every thought, every decision, every breath is an opportunity to choose who you will be next, and if you truly grasp that, your entire life changes. Because the person who believes they can reinvent themselves at will can never be trapped by fear, doubt, or circumstance again. And so every morning, before the world tries to define you, define yourself. Look in the mirror and decide who's showing up today. Maybe it's the warrior who's ready to conquer. Maybe it's the visionary who's creating a bigger future. Maybe it's the healer who's bringing peace to chaos. Or maybe it's the creator who's ready to build something extraordinary. Choose deliberately, because when you choose your state, you choose your destiny, and when life tests you, and it will, don't shrink. Expand, don't retreat, reinvent, don't look for ease, look for evolution. Every challenge is an invitation to awaken another layer of your power. Every setback is a signal to rise higher. You are never being punished, you are being prepared. Prepared to lead, to create, to love, to live at a level you once thought impossible. Because the truth is, you've always had the power. You just needed to remember how to use it. And you just needed to remember how to use it, and the moment you do, life bends around you. Because reality always follows identity. When you change who you are being, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your new vibration. You stop trying to chase results and start attracting them. You stop fighting for validation and start commanding respect without saying a word. You stop asking for opportunities and start creating them. That's the power of living from the inside out instead of the outside in. And most people wait for life to give them permission to feel powerful. They wait for the right conditions, the right timing, the right encouragement. But power doesn't come from permission, it comes from decision. The moment you decide to see yourself differently, you become different. The moment you embody strength, clarity, and certainty, everything around you begins to align with that energy. You see, life isn't responding to what you want, it's responding to who you are being. And when you step into the alter egos that embody your highest potential, your actions start to reflect your destiny instead of your doubt. And every great breakthrough begins with identity shift. You can't build a new life with the same mindset that created the old one. If you keep thinking from the level of your limitations, you'll keep living within them. The mind loves familiarity. It clings to old emotions, old stories, old versions of who you used to be. But your soul craves expansion. It's constantly whispering, "There's more for you. There's more in you." That whisper is your invitation to rise. You have to choose between the comfort of who you've been and the courage of who you could become. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need to see the whole path. You just need to trust the next step. Because when you take that step with conviction, the next one reveals itself. That's how momentum works. Sit rewards movement, not waiting. The longer you wait for certainty, the more you feed fear. But the second you move, even with doubt in your chest and uncertainty in your mind, life starts to cooperate. Because the universe doesn't respond to hesitation, it responds to boldness. The warrior inside you knows that. The visionary thrives on that. The creator depends on that. And you've got to train yourself to act from identity, not emotion. Because emotions are temporary, but identity is enduring. When you feel fear, you can choose courage. When you feel doubt, you can choose faith. When you feel tired, you can choose commitment. You don't wait to feel ready, you decide to be ready. That's how leaders operate, that's how game changers think. They don't let the mood dictate the mission. They let the mission shape the mood. When your why is strong enough, your feelings will follow, and that's the secret most people miss. They want transformation without tension. They want growth without resistance, but resistance is the proof of power being born. It's the weight you lift to strengthen your identity. Every obstacle you face is a mirror reflecting the strength you haven't yet embodied. So instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" start asking, "Who do I need to become for this to no longer be a problem?" That single question changes everything. It shifts you from victim to creator. It activates every alter ego within you to rise in unity, and you'll notice that every time you grow, life tests your new identity. You'll get triggered, challenged, doubted, maybe even ridiculed. But that's not punishment, it's initiation. Every new level demands a stronger version of you. It's life asking, are you serious about this transformation? Or are you just interested? Because interest changes when it's convenient, but commitment endures through chaos. The warrior inside you doesn't need comfort. It thrives in conflict. The visionary doesn't need certainty. It sees beyond the fog. The healer doesn't need perfection. It understands that brokenness is the birthplace of beauty. And the creator doesn't need approval. It builds anyway. And there's a moment in every person's journey where they realize that their environment no longer fits the new version of who they're becoming. The conversations that used to excite you now feel empty. The habits that used to comfort you now feel heavy. That's the friction of transformation. It's uncomfortable because you're outgrowing old frequencies. You're shedding identities that no longer serve your evolution. And the people who can't grow with you will try to pull you back to who you were. But that's not your problem, that's your test. The more you evolve, the less you need validation. Because you understand that not everyone is meant to meet the future version of you. Some were only meant to know the chapter you've already closed. And this is why your commitment must be stronger than your emotions, and your purpose must be louder than your excuses. Every time you think, maybe I can't, that's your cue to awaken the visionary. Every time you feel like quitting, summon the warrior. Every time pain resurfaces, call upon the healer. And when doubt tries to silence your progress, awaken the creator. That's how you move through life powerfully, not by avoiding weakness, but by transforming it. And the truth is, most people never break free because they confuse pain with punishment. But pain is a signal, not a sentence. It's trying to get your attention. It's showing you the areas that need growth, courage, and healing. But they start L-I, they'll always'll go T-E-N-I-N-G to it. It becomes your greatest ally, because it pushes you to evolve. It forces you to face the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. And when you heal those parts, you access power that's been dormant within you. The healer understands this deeply. It doesn't see pain as something to escape, but something to transcend. And when you transcend pain, you don't just become stronger. You become magnetic. People feel it. They sense your energy because true power isn't loud, it's grounded. It's not about dominance, it's about presence. When you've faced your fears, healed your wounds, and embodied your truth, you carry a frequency that others can't ignore. You walk differently, you speak differently, you no longer seek validation because you've already validated yourself. That's when the world starts to bend in your favor. And you've got to remember that the version of you that breaks through is not more talented, it's more disciplined. It's not luckier, it's more intentional, it's not fearless, it's more committed. Every day you must decide to rise a little higher than yesterday. Every day, you must choose to lead yourself before you lead anything else, because leadership starts within. If you can't command your own mind, emotions, and focus, you'll forever be a prisoner to your environment. But the moment you take full ownership, your freedom begins. And freedom isn't about escaping challenges. It's about knowing you can face any challenge and still remain grounded, focused, and alive. It's about waking up each day with clarity instead of confusion, purpose instead of procrastination, and drive instead of doubt. That's what happens when your four alter egos unite inside you. You become whole. You operate from a state of integration instead of fragmentation. There's no longer a war within you, there's alignment. And when alignment happens, everything accelerates. You stop forcing outcomes and start flowing with them. You stop begging life to give you more and start realizing that life has already given you everything. You just needed to remember who you are. You stop saying, "I'll believe it when I see it," and start saying, "I'll see it because I already believe it." That's the shift from limitation to liberation. And that's when you start to realize something profound. Every version of you that ever existed still lives inside you. The child who dreamed, the fighter who survived, the healer who forgave, the creator who built, they're all still there. They never left, you just stopped listening. But when you bring them all back online, when you merge all that you are, you become unstoppable. Not because life got easier, but because you became stronger, wiser, and more whole. And there's a force inside you that's greater than any obstacle you'll ever face. It's not in your circumstances, it's in your consciousness. It's not out there, it's in here. The more you embody that truth, the more life will rise to meet you. Because power isn't something you gain, it's something you remember. And when you remember who you really are, the world has no choice but to remember it too. And because power isn't something you gain, it's something you remember. And when you remember who you really are, the world has no choice but to remember it too. You start walking differently. You start talking differently. You stop chasing validation and start commanding it by your presence alone. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone because your energy does the speaking. You no longer look for signs that you're enough. You live as though you always have been. And that shift, that quiet certainty, changes everything. And you realize you were never waiting for confidence to arrive. You were waiting for alignment. Confidence isn't loud. It's not arrogance or bravado. It's the calm knowing that no matter what happens, you'll handle it. It's knowing that even if you fall, you'll rise again. It's the peace that comes when you've finally made peace with yourself. When you stop trying to fix who you are and start expanding who you are, that's when your power becomes unshakable, because it's not built on ego, it's built on truth. And every breakthrough begins with a moment of deep honesty. You must look at your life and ask, where have I been holding myself back? What stories have I been telling that keep me small? Because those stories about not being ready, not being smart enough, not being worthy, are the invisible chains keeping you tied to your limitations. And the moment you recognize them, they lose their power. Awareness breaks illusion. Once you see the cage, you can't pretend you're trapped anymore. You realize the door has been open all along, but awareness isn't enough. You need embodiment. You have to live the new identity before the world catches up. You have to walk like the person who's already free. Speak like the person who's already confident. Act like the person who already believes, because the mind follows action. When you act from your future self, you rewire your nervous system to believe that future is now. Every small act of courage, every moment you show up when fear tries to silence you, is a vote for your new identity. And the warrior in you understands that progress is built through repetition, not perfection. The visionary in you knows that even small steps forward are sacred, because each one moves you closer to your destiny. The healer in you reminds you to rest without guilt, to breathe without judgment, to love without conditions. And the creator in you turns every idea, every spark, every dream into tangible momentum. Together, these identities shape you into a force of unstoppable evolution. And there's a rhythm to growth, a sacred dance between chaos and clarity. One day you feel invincible, the next you question everything. That's not failure, that's expansion. Growth isn't linear. It's messy, unpredictable, and deeply human. But that's where the gold is found, in the uncertainty, in the stretching, in the spaces between who you were and who you're becoming. If you can stay present through that discomfort, if you can breathe through the doubt instead of running from it, you'll uncover a strength most people never touch. And because most people quit right before the shift, they feel the friction, the tension, the pressure, and they mistake it for failure. But pressure is the proof that transformation is happening. Diamonds are formed the same way, through pressure, heat, and time. The version of you that's breaking free right now is being shaped by the same forces. You're being refined by the challenges you thought would destroy you. You're being strengthened by the storms you didn't think you could survive. Every setback is a sculptor chiseling away the parts of you that don't belong in your future. And that's why gratitude is so powerful. Gratitude turns pain into perspective. It teaches you to say, thank you for the lesson, thank you for the growth, thank you for showing me what I'm capable of. Gratitude doesn't ignore pain. It transforms it. It reminds you that nothing in your life is wasted. Every tear, every doubt, every heartbreak has served your evolution. Every challenge has revealed a layer of resilience you didn't know existed. When you look back, you realize that the moments that broke you were the same moments that built you. And through all of it, your alter egos have been there guiding, evolving, integrating. The warrior helped you fight your battles. The visionary kept your eyes on the horizon. The healer mended the wounds when you fell. And the creator rebuilt everything from the ashes. Together, they've been crafting your rebirth. You didn't just survive. You transformed. You didn't just adapt. You ascended. And that's what it means to live without limits, to continuously evolve beyond who you were yesterday. And the truth is, you will never be finished. There is no final version of you. Life is constant creation. Each day, you're either repeating or reinventing. Each moment, you're either reacting or redefining. Freedom begins when you choose the latter. When you stop letting your circumstances dictate your energy, and instead let your energy dictate your circumstances. You are not meant to merely exist, you are meant to express. Every day, you are writing your identity through the choices you make, the energy you carry, and the way you show up in the world. And if you ever forget that, close your eyes and reconnect with your breath. That single breath is proof that power still flows through you. It's proof that your story isn't over. That breath carries life, and life is possibility. In that moment, call upon whichever alter ego you need. If you need strength, summon the warrior. If you need clarity, awaken the visionary. If you need peace, embody the healer. If you need results, become the creator. You are never without power because all four live within you. And every time you face fear, it's an invitation to embody courage. Every time you encounter doubt, it's a chance to deepen faith. Every time you stumble, it's a reminder to rise, because power isn't built in moments of comfort, it's forged in the fire of challenge. It's sculpted through adversity, pressure, and persistence. That's why the greatest transformations often come disguised as chaos. You think life is falling apart, when in truth it's falling into place, and you were never meant to play small. Playing small doesn't serve the world, it starves your spirit. Playing small is safe, but it's suffocating. You didn't come this far just to blend in. You came here to lead, to create, to awaken, to set a new standard. And the moment you fully embody that truth, life begins to mirror it. Doors open, people appear, synchronicities align. Because when you rise into alignment, the universe responds in kind, and the beauty of all of this is that you don't need anyone's permission to begin. You don't need validation to claim your greatness. You don't need to wait for the perfect timing, the perfect plan, or the perfect feeling. The only thing you need is a decision, one clear, bold, unwavering decision to live as the limitless version of yourself. Because once you make that decision, truly make it, your energy changes, your habits change, your destiny changes. And everything you've been seeking is already within you: clarity, confidence, healing, creation, it's all there. The world doesn't give it to you, the world reflects it back to you once you activate it. And once you start living from that place of wholeness, you realize there are no limits left to break, only new levels to rise to. Because the warrior never stops fighting for what matters, the visionary never stops dreaming bigger, the healer never stops loving deeper, and the creator never stops building what others said was impossible. And that's the cycle of expansion. Fight, envision, heal, create, repeat. Again and again, higher and higher. Each round brings you closer to your true essence. Each version becomes stronger, wiser, more grounded, more whole. Until one day you realize you no longer need to search for freedom, because you've been living it all along. You've become it, you are it, and that's when life truly begins to unfold in ways beyond imagination.